Norman Lear is a racist, a hypocrite, a thief, and a liar.
This is a man.
Good morning. This is Gigi Dawn from Setting the Record Straight, giving you some news that you can use. For those who are not aware, this morning news outlets confirmed the death of 101-year-old Norman Lear, who was the executive producer of many of your favorite 1970s sitcom shows. As you can see from the video that I stitched, which from content creator Miss Dara Starr Tucker talked a lot about Norman Lear in her last year 2022 series regarding Eric Monte, who is still alive, by the way, and glad that he is still with us. Eric Monte, and I suggest that you go back to Dara Starr Tucker's series on Eric Monte. He was the creator of many of the shows that Norman Lear produced. And I want to focus on Eric Monte for this moment and just research and reconnect with Mr. Monte's story, because it's very important to Black culture, not just Black television culture, but Black movie culture, and just and music culture as well, entertainment culture in a whole. Mr. Monte was the creator, writer of Cooley High. Mr. Monte was born in 1943 in Chicago, Illinois, which for all of you who have ever watched Cooley High know that the story was based on the actual high school in Chicago, Illinois. Mr. Monte also wrote What's Happening and What's Happening Now, which was loosely based off the movie Cooley High. Mr. Monte also wrote The Jeffersons and the concept of Sanford and Son. And as you can see from the picture on the screen, at your bottom left is Mr. Eric Monte, and on your bottom right is Mr. Norman Lear. And the purpose of me putting both of their pictures together, because if you go back to Miss Dara Starr Tucker's series on Mr. Monte, he speaks about how he never was paid by Mr. Norman Lear for the creation of all his shows, which were extremely successful. And if you're a child of the 70s and 80s, you would have watched pretty much all of those shows that I mentioned, especially one of our faves, which is, and Good Times was co-written by Mr. Monte and the late Mike Evans. And Mike Evans, of course, the co-writer of Good Times, had one of the actual characters named after him in the series, and they used his last name for the series. And as you also would know, that Michael Evans played Lionel on The Jeffersons. And so going back to the series that Miss Dara Starr Tucker did on Mr. Monte, he called Mr. Lear a hypocrite, thief, and a liar, because after all these years, he still has not been properly paid for the creation of those shows. And not just him, but also Michael Evans. And Michael Evans, as I stated, is no longer living, but he does have surviving children and surviving grandchildren who also have not been paid for the shows Good Times, Jeffersons, What's Happening Now. Anything that Mr. Monte touched, he has not been paid for. Any residuals, any DVDs, any like resurgence of the series on other networks, he has not gotten any royalties or any of the residuals from these programs. And so I wanted to use this opportunity to spotlight Mr. Eric Monte and Mr. Mike Evans on the creation of these wonderful shows that we've enjoyed. As I said, Mr. Monte created a whole culture behind these shows. The music that was done for Cooley High alone, that used a lot of the Motown acts for that soundtrack, is like a soundtrack to a lot of our lives in childhood and the generation before us lives in childhood. And for those who have never watched Cooley High before, please go and check out that movie. Dara Starr Tucker did a fundraising campaign for Mr. Monte in order for him to get some incidentals when he moved into his new place last year. So I just really want people during this time to go back, watch her content, but also remember that Mr. Monte was extremely instrumental in creating all of those shows that we know and love. Check me out at strslive.com. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel at STRS Live. Have a great day.